I wanted to do a quick rundown of the controls on the D-type pedal. So I'm running this directly into the front end of another amp. What I like to do is set the amp up to a volume that I'm going to be playing at. I like to, when I'm running into the front of an amp, it's a good idea to make the tone controls on this tone stack as neutral as possible. So that's going to vary based on the amp. Now this guy is, the D-type is bypassed, so this activate switch activates it. Now the signal is going through the circuitry on the D-type. And now it's a true bypass directly in and out and into the amp. So as a rule, typically I like to set up the master volume or the overall volume level to be just a little bit higher than what I'm getting out of the amp normally. You can turn this up insane, but specifically, like if you have a non-tube amplifier, that can be hard on the input of your amp. So a good rule is just a little bit hotter than the normal signal, guitar signal. And I find that I have to drive it, not drive it, but I have to have the signal up just a tad coming through here to provide the kind of dynamics that you want out of a D-style preamp. So we'll start over here. Actually, let's start with the tone stack. Just like any other amp, treble, right, mid-range. Okay, bass. And I've often thought with this circuit, having everything straight up at 12 o'clock is a pretty neutral or good place to start. So that's the tone controls. We've got the volume. So this is like the gain going into the first gain stage. You can think of it that way. So like on a Marshall or something that has a master volume, this is the regular volume and this is the master. So in this case, think of this as the volume or the gain that you're amplifying the guitar signal into the circuitry here, and then this is the master. So you can actually overdrive this circuit by cranking this volume up and turning the master way down. Right? Turn down the reverb a little bit. But like, notice how I'm still keeping the volume the same. All of the overdrive and the tone is in here. The signal going from here into the front of your amp doesn't have to be. You're not trying to drive the input of your amp with the signal from here. You're getting all your sound from here and you're using your amp as the overall volume control. That's why I say, that's the normal signal, right? That's the bypass signal, I should say. So directly into the amp and now through the D-type. Yeah, that's a little hot. Okay, so volume, master, right? Those are pretty self-explanatory, I hope. These three switches here, similar to any D-style amplifier from this era, I guess, this particular D-style circuit design, you've got a jazz rock switch, so rock is higher gain. Jazz, lower gain. mid boost. So mid boost is off right now. It's forward. Mid boost on. This comes into play mostly, I would say, when you're using overdrive. Having the mid boost is nice. Or when you're in the jazz setting, it kind of brings up the mid and the lower end. So there's normal. Here's with some boost. See how that fills it out? Okay, so that's the mid boost. The bright, there's two bright settings. So this is a three-way switch. In the middle, the bright capacitor is bypassed, so this is just normal. Actually, let me just, okay. Up is like the next level of bright. And then forward is the highest level of bright. Bright off, bright on the higher setting. Bright off, bright on the lower setting. Okay. And then these two controls here, drive and level, operate, essentially, they're only for the overdrive. Okay, so when you click on the overdrive, then these come into play. In fact, if I turn on overdrive, so I'm going to engage overdrive, right? If I turn this level off completely, nothing, because what's happening is the signal is routing from this tube into this tube, and we've just completely shut that tube off. So the nice thing about this is you can balance the level of overdrive and clean by setting the overall master and then adjusting these two so that you could have a little bit of drive. Like here's clean. Here's the overdrive engaged with just a little bit of drive, but it's the same volume. So with these two controls, drive and level, this is, you might think of how hard you're driving the signal. So you crank this up, turn this back a little bit, and you're getting like super overdriven sound. Dial this back, dial the drive back and the level up, and you can do more of just a little bit of bite on the signal. So it's just starting to break up. You can kind of play around with the balance between those. Yeah, that's about it. One thing, if you're not getting enough overdrive out of the drive control, if you increase the preamp volume a little bit, you're driving the signal into these two controls a little bit harder. So see if I can demonstrate that. Okay, so here's just the clean channel. I hate saying channel because it's really not a channel, but clean channel. Actually, let me do this. I'm going to set this back to the rock setting. Okay, so that's clean. Now we've got some overdrive because I've got the overdrive engaged. If I turn this gain up, see how that affects the overdrive? It's like how hard you're driving into that control, or into that gain stage. So again, the whole idea is not to have this signal drive the level into your amp louder than, you know, maybe an overdrive pedal or something, because all of the overdrive is going to happen inside here. Right now I'm playing at a pretty close, or a pretty low volume. I'm able to talk over it. And I can get crazy amounts of overdrive out of this at that same level. It's really not that loud. In fact, I could turn it down lower. And I don't know if I could talk over that, but it's not terribly loud. Okay, so there's bypass, just the signal of the guitar going into the amp. And now if I engage it, it's going to go through the overdrive circuit. Same volume. So yeah, that's about it.